This video is going to focus on the purchase orders and the purchase order page. But before we do that, I just want to finish up a couple things on the parts information. Let's go into the parts. Let's select this part. Let's edit it. Let's go over this information very quickly. Part number, description, those are required. You can categorize it. I've categorized this under cooling system. I've put a supplier in here of A1 Auto Parts. We'll put the brand name of Volvo. It's manufactured by Bosch. Let's put in a cost here of 7. Now, since we set up a pricing matrix for this company, it went ahead and automatically calculated our selling price when we changed the cost. List price, if we wanted to keep track of what the manufacturer list is for our references, we can put that in there. And we can override that calculated price by changing it. And that will leave that price set. Unless we update cost again, then the selling price will be recalculated based on our pricing matrix. But again, we can override that price by entering the new number in there. The number in stock, this is the number in stock at the location that you're currently logged into. The minimum, again, the minimum you want to keep at the location you're logged into. And the location, that's the physical location where the part is located in your facility. And again, all this has to do with the particular location you're logged into at the time. Most people are going to use this to manage one location. So when you're logged in, all this information will be associated with that single location. If you want, you can make a note about the part here. Click OK to save it. Now let's move on to the purchase orders. There are two ways to get to the purchase orders. One, you can go here to inventory. And this is kind of an overview of the purchase orders, the purchase order history, the returns, and the return history. From here, we can select a purchase order. We can jump to that purchase order, and we'll see that purchase order selected and the parts on that purchase order. The other way to get to purchase orders, from the drop-down, select the purchase orders page. Now that's going to show us all the purchase orders. And again, we can select a purchase order here, and down here we'll see the parts on that purchase order. Now let's go to this purchase order, and let's add a single part from here. We can click New, select New. Part number, let's select one of these. Let's say we want to get 6 of those. All the pricing's good. We click OK. Let's go and see some other ways to add items to a purchase order. Let's go back to the parts page. Let's search. We can use this here to help us manage our inventory. We drop this down. We select low stock filter, and we can see that the order quantity is 1 to bring our stock back up to the minimum. So we need to order these 4 parts. So let's select this one. Let's add it to the purchase order. Let's select that purchase order. Order quantity of 5. Now I think this part number is already on that purchase order, so it's just going to increase the quantity. Let's select this one. Let's add that to the purchase order. Let's select that same one. Let's add 2 of those. Let's select this part, add that to purchase order, same purchase order, order quantity 2. And let's this item on a purchase order, but let's go ahead and create a new one from here. We can select the company, we can select test, and I'm just going to describe this as partial. Click OK. And we're going to order 4 of these. Now there's another way to add items to a purchase order, and that's from the actual invoice. Let's go in to this invoice, this job. Let's select this catalytic converter. Let's add that to a purchase order. Let's select the purchase order. Now let's create a new purchase order for this car, because only items we're going to place on this purchase order are the ones for this invoice. So we'll go with A1 Auto Parts. We'll select this since it's there, and then we'll put this for Joe's car. I don't remember the name of this customer, but this is for demonstration purposes only. Okay, and let's go ahead and put this item on there too. Add to the purchase order. For Joe's car. Now let's go back over here to purchase orders. You'll see the purchase order for Joe's car, the partial one we created, and the one we added quite a few parts to. Let's start by processing this one. Let's switch to this data sheet view. It makes it easier to edit the records. We're just going to go through here. Quantity ordered 5. Let's say we received 5. I'm going to delete first, actually, these 2 items, because I don't know if any of those have been processed yet or not. Just for this demonstration, I just want these 3 parts that I just put on here. So you'll see the quantity ordered 5, we received 5. We're going to just go ahead with all this information is correct and leave it alone for this one. So we're going to select all these items. We're going to click process the selected items. Let's just make up a vendor's invoice number. Click OK. Now you'll see that purchase order disappeared from our list because the whole purchase order was processed. What we can do, we go over here to purchase order history, and there is that purchase order and the items. And you could see some of those 2 items that I deleted, they had been partially processed. So here's the 3 items that we did process, the quantities received, the quantity back ordered, and our cost. Let's go back to purchase orders. Let's select this one. Let's show in data sheet view. Let's say we only received 2 of these, and we want 2 to go to inventory. Let's say the price changed. Price changed to $6. Again, it's going to calculate our selling price based on our pricing matrix that we have set up. Let's say the list is 8. Even though calculated at 7, we want to get $9 for this part. Now to save this record, we can hit enter or the save button. Let's just hit enter on this one. Let's select that. Let's process it. The vendor's invoice number. Okay. Now you'll see this purchase order still here, and the part is still here. It shows us that we've now processed 2 of these, 2 out of the 4. If we go over here to purchase order history, here it is, right here, and it shows that we ordered 4, we received 2, and the cost was 6. Let's go back over here to the purchase orders. Let's select that purchase order. Let's show in datasheet view. Now we received the other two. We want them to go to inventory. All this pricing is the same. We're going to select that. We're going to process it. We're going to make up an invoice number. And now you'll see that the purchase order is gone. That's because all the items were processed. We can go over here to purchase order history. We can select that purchase order. Now you'll see that part number's on here twice. And what this shows us is that on this processing, on this date, we had ordered this many, but we received this many. Again, on this date, here was the ordered amount. But on this date, we got this many, and these were the costs. So that's the purchase order process and the purchase order history. And that concludes this video.